Hi, this is Karen O'Brien, and I wanted to go over this tank breach workshop with you. So, last couple of years, I've been having this opportunity to work with people to set up tank breach models. It's been kind of fun. It's a little bit of a break from urban modeling and from tailings dam modeling because it doesn't take quite as much effort. So you can pop these out pretty quickly, and they're quite a bit of fun. So basically all you need is a grid element size, maybe 5 feet, something like that. These are pretty low volume, so you can get pretty creative with them. You need good elevation data. That's very important and key to this. You need containment berms, which we set up with Flow2D levees. Those just cut the water from leaving the containment berm until the containment berm fails. And you can see right here that we have a failure point that we determined per the client. And you have this secondary containment, which the client thinks that if their containment system fails, the secondary containment will prevent this flow from getting down into this water body down here. So that's kind of the idea about here, is try to direct it down this way or down over here instead of down into this water body. You need a tank volume. In this case, we just take like the volume of the tank and convert that to cubic feet. And then we turn that into a, just a simple flood hydrograph. And you can see it right here. It's a very simple hydrograph. And you can set these up in many different ways. But in this case, we set one up using this, just a 15-minute breach that just looks like this. It's just a volume under this simple curve. And we also set it up with a front-loaded hydrograph and a few different methods. And we had like a hydrograph calculator, different distribution systems in an Excel file that we share with this project. So it's pretty, just thinks about different ways to set up your hydrograph. But usually it's all volume, it's just based on the volume of what's in that tank. We consider a catastrophic breach of the largest tank, and the largest tank complete collapse or complete breach or whatever. So all the volume evacuates the tank. And in this case, we did have LiDAR data. It was a little old, and it was actually not in the USGS 3 DEP system, so we did have to go and download this LiDAR data ourselves and then convert it into an elevation model. And so the video shows you exactly how to do that. And then we had to put in a leveling berm because the LiDAR data did not include that leveled pad. The pad was newer than the LiDAR data, so we put in a leveling pad, and then we all put in a secondary leveling tool to level what was inside the tank. And breach the tank and then allow the berm to breach. And you can set the breach point up and the berm breach point in any location and run different models to see where that flow is going to go if it breaches in certain areas. Then we set a secondary containment berm, and I think we put in a hydraulic structure back here. There was a culvert at some point that goes in that. But the whole system is set up in a workshop, and I keep that on my website, and you can get it here. So if you go to the training packages right here, you'll get to the bottom of these training packages, and you'll see the tank breach workshop down here at the bottom. Not much to see when you click on it. It's just this. And once you purchase this, you get access to this full workshop, which is all of the videos, step-by-step instructions, and organized by folder. So like this would be your admin, and your admin needs to set these up because they require admin rights. So this will be your Flow2D setup, activator, QGIS setup. And then this will be the day of training. This will be your computer setup. Computer setup video, connect to your elevation data, and update the Flow2D plugin, that kind of stuff. This right here is QGIS data prep, so this would be like some videos on how to get that LiDAR data and how to prep that LiDAR data, or how to get any just generic data, what you're going to need for this project. Over here we have the tank breach hydrograph. This is how to create a tank breach hydrograph. So a couple of videos about tank breach modeling, and then I think there might be like an Excel file in here with a few different kinds of volume distribution hydrographs. Calculators. So you can put the volume in and you can put the breach time in, and it will distribute the volume using a couple of different calculators. So it's pretty nice. And finally, we do the actual project. So setting up the project will include like elevation, correcting the pad, setting up the levees, defining the levee breach, and then running, and then you run these models, you know, in between some of these steps, you just run the model and see where the water's going and see how things are going. And then the very final is project mapping, and that is just a how to do your do you want to run an animation, do you want to set it up with like nice reportable mapping, do you want to make this a web map, you know, that kind of stuff is in this one. And then of course there is the class installer right here that gives you all the data and all the videos, and the workshop PDF right here that you can use to, you know, work through the steps. So this is the tank breach model. It's actually quite fun, but I think the reason I like it is not so much that it's fun and easy, which it kind of is, but really because it's a good way to explore Flow2D without, you know, having to go through the self-help kit, which is really complex urban modeling. So it's a little bit simpler. It gives you like a gentler introduction into Flow2D. But anyway, it's a great class, and I hope you give it a shot because it's pretty fun.